It's Monday, April 11. In the headlines, JCTU is calling for information on the public sector compensation review system. Changes coming to the Jamaica Tourist Board. Regionally, Children's Authority calls for an end to corporal punishment in Trinidad and Tobago. And in sports, it's Kingston College and Edwin Allen for champs. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I am Simone Absalom Gale. The Jamaica Confederation of Trade Unions, JCTU, is calling on the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service to provide detailed information as it relates to the compensation program for public sector workers. President of the Confederation, Helene Davis-White, says the union has been asking the ministry for information, but all that has been forthcoming is examples of what is being proposed. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke addressed the issue of compensation reformation in the public sector in a recent episode of PBCJ's Current Affairs program, PBCJ Presents.
Pay is just has been subdued for a long time. The way in which compensation is organized is too complex, and it makes it unfair and inequitable. We have instances where persons are, as I said before, unaware of their total compensation because so much of it is caught up in allowances. The big problem with allowances is that when you retire, your pension is based on your salary, which in some cases can be a very small proportion of your total income.
Mrs. Davis-White told Nationwide News that the actual finalization of the reformation should not be done without meeting with public sector workers. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security will be rolling out a life certificate for the new social pension program during the first quarter of the current fiscal year. A life certificate is an official document used to verify that a pensioner is still alive and therefore eligible to receive a pension from the government of Jamaica. The life certificate will have to be verified by one of the designated persons on the certificate who can certify that the person on the certificate is alive and is still in need of the benefit. Once this is not received by the ministry, payment will be suspended until the ministry can ascertain life status. Currently, there are 7,800 persons registered under the program who receive funds, which is credited to their bank account or disbursed via the applicant's remittance agency of choice. The ministry is looking to increase the number of beneficiaries to 20,000 this fiscal year. Residents of Grants Pen in St. Thomas are concerned about the social and economic changes being brought on due to the construction of the new highway. The St. Thomas leg of the Southern Coastal Highway, which will run from Harbourview, St. Andrew into the parish of Portland, is anticipated to spur much economic activity in St. Thomas, long regarded as the forgotten parish. But some residents in Grants Pen say if the development is not planned with people in mind, that will not happen.
It's very dangerous for the kids to leave Grants Pen going to school and the elderly because the bus is not coming through Grants Pen anymore. They said if you are on the bus and they say Grants Pen, they're not taking you up, they're not coming through the community anymore because they say they have highway to drive. And my concern is the kids going to school. 1 mile from here, they let the kids off coming from the eastern part of Yalas. And crocodiles are always in that place because it's a crocodile inhabitant.
Councillor Edwin Marr of Landway Division in St. Thomas Municipal Corporation says he's aware of the issues.
After several meetings and consultation with the necessary authorities, it is now concluded that Grants Pen, there will be no change to the whole network of roads in Grants Pen. This has affected the community mentally, physically, and economically. The once vibrant community of Grants Pen is now dead. Grants Pen technically is now a transformed community, and anybody who knows Grants Pen from the former years know that the citizens and Grants Pen itself has been transformed. What I don't want is for Grandspen to return to its former days, where there was fear even to drive through Grandspen because of certain activities that they believe was taking place there. Grandspen is now a nice, transformed community, and I am calling...
He's calling on the relevant authorities to help the community.
JSIF and all of those agencies, including the parish council, to go into Grandspen and intervene in a way to ensure that Grandspen does not sink into anarchy, but be uplifted and motivated to ensure that there is some continuing life in Grandspen, which we are not seeing now. We have not seen a member of parliament. We have not seen anybody come to see how best we can work out something with the citizens that they could be somewhat comfortable. The long walks from top or bottom of the road into Grandspen is also a concern. It is a security concern for the children going to and from school in the morning, 4 o'clock. And many mothers also fear going back after they follow the children to the bus stops. So we are calling on the authority, whoever they are, to ensure that Grandspen is paid some attention.
Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett says the establishment of a tourism supplies logistics center is being explored to continue bridging the gap in the delivery of goods to the sector. Minister Bartlett says the development of the center is necessary to respond to the rapid growth of Jamaica's tourism consumption market. Pointing to agriculture as an example, he says consumption by tourists is currently 3 times that of locals, driving the need to boost output to meet that demand.
What it will do, in addition to everything else, is to provide a new scale of employment for different skill sets. So within the special economic zone, for example, we could have these production centers that are producing, agro-processed goods, chutneys and jams and jellies and juices and nectars. We could be producing more of the beverage that the industry needs. We could be producing the furniture that the industry needs and so on. And that would then be exported to Jamaica from Jamaica, because you know that concept. And because tourism earns in foreign exchange, it will be able to pay in foreign exchange. So the producers within the free zone would be export producers, producing for Jamaica, while at the same time would provide near-shore arrangements for our colleagues in the rest of the Caribbean and other places.
He says the logistics center will also provide large-scale employment for several skill sets. He also notes that this will put a plus for the cruise sector.
In doing so, we'll be able to be attractive also to the cruise lines for home porting, so that they can have their supplies in Jamaica instead of having it in the United States or other places.
Meanwhile, Minister Bartlett says the Jamaica Tourist Board, JTB, will soon undergo a restructuring in a push to focus more on marketing intelligence gathering and industry knowledge building.
We are spending a lot of time in building out the capacity to mine and generate and analyze data. The Tourist Board is being recommissioned. In fact, we just finished the management audit on the board. And in short order, we're going to do a restructuring to focus more on intelligence gathering, market intelligence, and our ability to utilize better data for greater efficiency, to reach more markets, and to be able to measure daily the impact of our advertising spend.
The tourism minister says this will add to the recently developed innovation and risk management division of the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, which deals primarily with the development and management of new ideas.
We're putting $31 million there for young people all across Jamaica who have ideas but have no financial backing. Ideas about how do you create new tourism experiences. Ideas of what it is that you can convert into material goods that people can use. Because that's what we do in tourism. We consume everything that your mind can generate. Because we respond to the passions of people. People travel to fulfill their passions.
President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, will be paying a state visit to Jamaica. According to the Office of the Prime Minister, President Kagame will visit Jamaica over the period April 13 to 15, 2022. The visit is of special significance as it takes place during Jamaica's Diamond Jubilee. The OPM in a statement says the visit represents an important opportunity for the deepening of the bilateral relationship between Jamaica and the Republic of Rwanda and reinforces the steadily burgeoning relationship between the African continent and the CARICOM region. The invitation to the president was extended by Prime Minister Andrew Holness some 2 years ago, but the visit was unexpectedly delayed by the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. Prime Minister Andrew Holness is lamenting the low level of vaccination in Jamaica. He says while Jamaica can be counted as one of the fastest recovering countries from the COVID-19 pandemic, vaccination is still at low. He was speaking on Sunday at the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center's Camp Meeting 2022 in Kingston.
And the only measure, this is not the place to dwell on it, would be our low levels of vaccination, where we are only 25%. Experts keep saying to us that at 25%, it is still a challenge for us because were there to be a resurgence, we could be badly hit. That has not happened so far, thank God. We continue to pray that we will be protected in a special way.
The Prime Minister notes that while churches were not closed during the last 2 years of the pandemic, many members were affected because they were not able to attend all meetings physically. He is urging church leaders to create activities with those persons in mind.
For those of you who have pastors and deacons who are trained in this area, it would be very useful to have specific programs that you would deploy within your normal service to have this kind of engagement. Because whilst, not everyone will say I am affected or I have a problem, there are a lot of people who are quietly experiencing some of these issues of anxiety, of depression, of just pent-up tension, that you have to be instrumental, deliberate and direct in bringing people in and talking to them. Just the mere act of providing them with some activity of socialization will help.
In the business report, Deramon Trading Limited is expanding. Danita Rodney has the details as well as the usual market updates.
Deramon Trading Limited has announced the acquisition of Arosa Limited, a St. Anne-based meat company. This new acquisition comes 3 months after the company purchased Spice Hills Farm, a seasoning manufacturer. During the signing ceremony, founder of Arosa Limited, Robert Horner, expressed that he could not have found a better company to take Arosa forward.
Well, I'm very pleased that I found a company, a serious company, who is also on the stock exchange, to sell my company, who I've been head of for 36 years. And I've reached not quite the end of my life, but I have been for many, many years in this business, and it's about time to take a step back and hand it over to somebody who I feel will be very competent and will make a good success out of it by enlarging it and expanding it. And I'm thanking Deramon for that.
CFO of Deramon, Ian Kelly, said that this latest achievement is a part of the company's long-term strategy for diversification and growth in the distribution and manufacturing space.
We have certainly been doing a lot of new inroads into the manufacturing sector, and we believe that the acquisition of Arosa will also help us to deepen our market and also to allow us to increase our revenue from that source that we believe that would add additional value to us.
Kelly also stated that Dermont intends to expand the brand across Jamaica, the Caribbean, and possibly international.
Certainly, from the first aspect of it is really to broaden our revenue stream, and thereafter we look back at the marketing efforts to see whether, after being able to supply the local market, that we will be able to make further inroads within the Caribbean and more so the international market. But that's also a part of our ambition.
The move is geared towards widening Dermont's manufacturing base and showing the company's ability to supply quality products to consumers while contributing to nation building. In foreign exchange trading for Friday, April 8th, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.50. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $123.61. The pound sterling traded for $204.32, and the euro sold for an average of $170.61. The following reflects the movement of the JSE indices in Friday's trading session. The JSE index declined by 2,313 points to close at over 300,000 units. The junior market index advanced by 21 points to close at over 4,000 units. The combined market index declined by 1,973 points to close at over 400,000 units. And the All-Jamaican Composite Index declined by 2,760 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 102 stocks, of which 49 advanced, 43 declined, and 10 traded firm. Stocks advanced for AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, Berger Paints Jamaica Limited, and Blue Power Group Limited. Stocks declined for 1834 Investments Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Trading firm were 13A Student Living Jamaica Limited, Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited, and Epley 7.50% preference shares due 2024. Elite Diagnostic Limited was the volume leader with over 35 million units, followed by Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited with over 14 million units and Pulse Investments Limited with over 6 million units. In regional stocks, on the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange, Clico Investment Fund was the volume leader with over 6,000 shares, followed by Calypso Macro Index Fund with 26 shares being traded. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, 0 securities were traded. In Trinidad and Tobago, the announcement of the increase in gas prices set to take effect on April 19th is already a cause for concern for small and medium-sized businesses. TTT Live has the details.
The impending increase in gas prices on April 19 will particularly affect small and medium-sized businesses, so says Acting President of the Sangre Grande Chamber of Commerce, Indra Sinananoja Maharaj. Ms. Maharaj said she understands the increase is a direct result of global economic challenges, but is pleading for assistance for SMEs by the government.
This will have the domino effect on almost every sector in commerce, not just the barter system. We're looking at transportation, we're looking at, in the professional world, every sector of commerce. On another note, we believe that the SMEs have endured fiscal hardship over the past 2 years due to the global pandemic, which the government clearly recognized by providing relief measures.
In market data for oil prices dropped by $4 a barrel today, with Brent crude tumbling below $100 on plans to release record volumes of crude and oil products from strategic stocks. Brent crude was down $3.93 or 3.8% at $98.85 a barrel, and West Texas Intermediate crude lost $4.19 or 4.3% to $94.07 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, in the Bahamas, no excuse for abuse. Stop the violence. That's the theme for this year's recognition of a Child Protection Month. Our News has the details of the special service held recently to start the month-long activities.
This year's patron act, wife of the Prime Minister, Anne Marie Davis, emphasized children's rights to be protected and free from abuse.
Neglect. This is the failure, whether it is intentional or not, of your parents or guardians to provide you with shelter, clothing, with health care or educational needs. When you do not get these things, that is neglect. There's physical abuse. This is severe beating, burns, biting, or even strangulation. This actually happens. That is abuse.
She encouraged the students to speak out if they are a victim of abuse or know someone who is being abused.
Sexual abuse. This includes touching your bodies, your private parts, sexual relations with family members, which is incest, which is wrong, and sometimes also exposing you to pornography. This is all wrong. This is sexual abuse. We have to stop all this. Another one is emotional abuse. This occurs when your emotional development and your self-esteem are attacked.
Minister of Social Services Obi Wilshcombe also in attendance, challenging them to become a part of the solution.
Talk to your teacher, talk to your counselor, talk to your parents, talk to those persons who you trust.
In Trinidad and Tobago, after the death of a 15-year-old, the Children's Authority is calling for an end to corporal punishment. TTT Live has the details.
The authority said their data shows that physical abuse is the second highest type of child abuse reported to the organization, which is often administered by parents and guardians under the guise of discipline. Their call comes days after 15-year-old Aliyah Alexander died after being disciplined by her father. The autopsy stated that the cause of death was as a result of multiple blunt force injuries. Police said the girl's father reported that he beat her with a belt at his Claxton Bay home and she fell down a flight of stairs. In a statement, the authority said that the death emphasizes the need for families and society at large to challenge the traditional norms which influence the way children are cared for and treated.
In Guyana, at least 3 regional heads of government on Friday signaled their intention to travel to Guyana in May 2022, where Agricultural Investment Forum and Expo will be held in Georgetown from May 19 to May 21. The forum is aimed at seeking to reduce the region's food import bill by 25%. Newsroom Guyana has that story.
The Regional Agriculture Investment Forum and Expo, launched at the Arthur Chung Conference Center on Friday, is in keeping with the CARICOM decision to reduce the region's food import bill by 25% by 2025, with the aim of promoting and improving the productivity and resilience of the region's agriculture food systems. It flows from a proposal made by Guyana's head of state, Dr. Irfan Ali, at the recent 33rd intersessional meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of CARICOM in Belize. The regional heads are said to be in full support of the Guyana-led strategy. In a recorded message, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said St. Vincent and the Grenadines will be represented at the event and hopes that all of CARICOM will attend.
We have to build agriculture and feed ourselves in this region. And Irfan Ali has a plan. And we need to interrogate that plan. And we also require investment, not only from the state, but very much from the private sector across the region and globally.
A number of Vincentians and tourists marked the anniversary of the La Soufrière eruption by hiking the volcano. Crystal Hyatt of CBC Barbados is in St. Vincent and made the journey into the now dormant crater to file this report.
After over 40 years of being dormant, the La Soufrière volcano erupted on April 9, 2021. After 6 hours of hiking, I've made it inside the volcano that has changed the lives of many Vincentians. Why did you decide to hike Soufrière?
Today is 9th April. It marks the anniversary of the La Soufrière eruption. So, it was just, for me, it's just a good experience, I would say. And of course, we anticipate I mean, she always zero up. She never fails zero up around April. So it was a good thing to just come and see, basically. Just an adventure.
What was the experience like?
It was good, I would say. A bit challenging. Well, the crater was my number one thing. The scenery in terms of how it's just amazing for me. Like a year ago, here was just ash, no greenery, nothing. And just after 1 year, you come here and it's just like nothing ever happened. So for me, it's just amazing to see.
Oh, well, to be honest, the last time I went up, I attempted it from the leeward side, but the change for me is, the greenery. Most of it gone. And you've seen a lot of ashes right now, still like on the floor, and the loose gravel and stuff like that. But outside of that, it was fun going up.
In sports, the 2022 Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships concluded with Kingston College and Edwin Allen High completing their journey toward the boys and girls titles. For Kingston College, it is their second title in 4 years, while Edwin Allen continued their recent dominance with their 8th straight title and 9th overall. This year's results mirrored those of 2019, the last champs to be held with fans in attendance before the COVID-19 pandemic cancelled the competition in 2020 and forced it to be held without fans in 2021. Congrats to both schools. Top athletes from the Caribbean left their mark in the inaugural USATF Bermuda Games on Saturday, picking up 8 victories at the Flora Duffy Stadium. Regional powerhouses Jamaica matched the United States with 3 wins each in the 13-race program. The Bahamas picked up 2, while Grenada, Barbados, Puerto Rico, Canada, and Kenya shared 1 apiece. Close to 140 athletes took part. Cheyenne Salmon led a Jamaican sweep in the women's 400-meter hurdles, winning in 55.35 seconds, with compatriots Rochelle Clayton 55.89 and Geneva Russell 56.56 following her home. Sharika Jackson, a 100 meters bronze medalist at last year's Tokyo Olympics, took the 400 meters in 51.40, with another Jamaican, Candice McLeod, second in 51.57 seconds. American Jade Stepta Baines was third in 51.93. Jamaican Shanika Ricketts, the World Championship silver medal winner, opened the 3-hour event, the first World Athletics Centennial Tour Gold meeting of the year, by winning the women's triple jump with a best of 14.15 meters, finishing ahead of Britain's Naomi Metzer, 14 meters, and American Michelle Focam, who posted 13.42. Ricketts got her mark on her 3rd attempt after Metzer had jumped to an early lead in her 2nd effort. In the women's 200 meters, Bahamian Anthony Strachan finished strongly to post 23.24 to hold off American Desiree Bryant 23.72, with rising Jamaican star Brianna Williams 3rd in 23.82 seconds. Head coach Phil Simmons hopes the ongoing skills camp in Antigua will help correct West Indies' erratic batting, which has plagued them in the white ball format. In recent years, the Caribbean side had struggled to bat through their quota of overs, especially in the 50-over version, leading to a run of defeats in their slide to 9th in the International Cricket Council rankings. Simmons says one of the major focuses of the 2-week camp at College Cricket Ground was rectifying this issue with the batting group.
Well, I think we've always had our issues with how we score against spin bowling, so I think that's been a highlight of the camp. The different ways that we are putting together, or as a batsman, the different ways you want to score against spin, and try and work on those. And for the bowlers and the quick bowlers who are here, the ability to improve on the Yorker bowling mainly. So I think that those are the areas that it encompasses during this camp.
He said it was critical the middle order understood their role, which was ensuring rotation of strike, especially during the crucial middle overs. Simmons' concerns were reflected in the Caribbean side's recent tour of India, where they scraped totals of 176 batting first and 193 and 169 while chasing as they crashed to a 3-0 whitewash. All-rounder Jason Holder, batting at number 7, was the only West Indies batsman to manage a half-century during the disappointing series for the visitors. And with that, we call an end to today's newscast. On behalf of our entire news production team, thanks for watching.